Did the math correctly, sir? You've been pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree for 17 years.
All right, so that's an expert witness for the retrial in the Karen Reed trial, I think. Homicide case. I think there must have been a hung jury in the first one. I didn't watch the first one. I'm not watching the second one. But it seems like the police in this particular jurisdiction did some super shady stuff. And during the last trial, in this current trial, the prosecution is proving themselves to be not awesome. So let's put it this way. I'm going to talk about this in general trial terms as a trial attorney. This expert witness for the prosecution for the last 17 years has listed that he had a bachelor's degree in some area. And as the defense found out, he did not, because the prosecution did not do their homework. The defense did their homework. And the witness, you can go watch the clip. The witness was like, well, there were some miscommunications and, but dude's been trying to get a bachelor's degree for 17 years. First of all. Second of all, this exchange certainly gives the defense an opportunity to at least argue that this guy has lied about that on his resume, on his CV. And as an attorney who hires expert witnesses all the time and who takes the depositions of defense expert witnesses all the time, one of the things that you absolutely go through with a fine-tooth comb for your expert as well as theirs is their CV, their curriculum vitae, which is basically their resume, but it includes all the organizations they belong to, all the things that they've published, any verdicts that they've been a part of, that kind of thing. The prosecution did not check their own witness. They did not thoroughly vet their own expert witness. And now the prosecution called this guy to the stand. He offered some expert testimony, which presumably was very important to the prosecution's case, and without making sure that all of the information on his CV was correct, and that he had actually accomplished all of the things that he was claiming that he had accomplished. The defense did their homework and determined that for 17 years he's been saying he has a bachelor's degree, and for 17 years he has not, in fact, had a bachelor's degree. And why does that matter? Because the defense, watch that clip. They got him to say the things that he said on the stand. And it will be very easy in closing argument or even in cross-examination for the defense attorney to at least demonstrate or later on argue that this witness was deceptive when it came to his own qualifications, which there are two components to that. First of all, he doesn't have the education that he says he had. Presumably, as an expert witness, what supports your expert opinions in large part is the education you've had. How do you become an expert in something if you don't have the proper education in it? That's the first point. So that discredits his opinions right there. Second, it's, and juries receive jury instructions on this from the judge. It's like, if you find that a witness has been deceptive in one area of their testimony, you can disregard all of their testimony. And, so it's a huge credibility problem for this witness, because that's all witnesses have when they take the stand in a case, is their credibility. And that's part of what the jury is weighing when a witness is testifying. They are weighing whether or not they believe that that witness is credible in their testimony. But, so it's like they can find this guy not credible. They can find that he lied about his CV and disregard his opinions. They can find that he lied about his education, and because he lied, they can disregard all of his testimony altogether. And bigger picture, it makes the prosecution look like a bunch of clowns to this jury. Why did the prosecution not do their job? The defense did. What else? And I guarantee you the defense is going to argue this in closing argument. They put up a witness that was not credible and who lied. What else is wrong with their case? What else have they lied about to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? And they're going to argue to try to discredit the prosecution's entire case. And from what I understand from the first trial, they're not going to have a very difficult job in doing that. I've seen a couple of videos about stuff that's come out during the second trial, and I'm just like, oh man, this prosecution is fucked. But double check everything about your witnesses before you put them on the stand.